Coming soon from SJS Direct, E-Steam, Little Girl Lost. The Devilish Diva helps a lost little girl find her way home in this devilishly funny E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam, Little Girl Lost at online booksellers this April. A couple of days ago, I was in a Facebook group and somebody posted a link to a movie trailer for Girls Trip. Now, after seeing this trailer, I had to shake my head because just when I thought the image of the African American woman couldn't be tarnished any further, and that the image of the African American woman had hit rock bottom with shows like Scandal, Love and Hip Hop, The Basketball Wives, and many other programs that have degraded the image of the black women in Hollywood went out and got some shovels and started digging deeper. Now, Girls Trip is supposed to be a movie that stars Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Regina King, all women in their 40s, yet the title is called Girls Trip. And a lot of people won't look at that and see the insult that's being presented to black women, and they really won't see it, again, because they don't have any critical thinking skills. Here you have a movie with women who are 40 plus years old, and you're calling it Girls Trip. Basically saying that these black women are behaving like children. A slap in the face to black women and a slap in the face to the image of black women. Unfortunately, this is going to go over the heads of many of these African American Negro women out here who will think that this is entertainment. And as I watched this trailer, I watched 40 plus year old women who knew better, such as Jada Pinkett Smith, Queen Latifah, and Regina King, breathe new life into stereotypes in this so called comedy. Now, in the opening scene on the trailer, you see these four black women on this plane, and they're sitting there telling one of the women that when they go on this trip to this Essence Music Festival, they're going to get two penises, and then the woman says, "We're going to be there for 3 days," and then she says, we're going to get three penises. Basically, again, breathing new life into the stereotype of the black Jezebel. And then she later goes on to talk about making gestures about oral sex. Again, breathing new life into the stereotype of the black Jezebel. In addition, they go there and they're loud and again breathing new life in the stereotype of the sapphire. And the whole comedy is filled with all these disgusting sex jokes, and they're just done in poor taste. And we're supposed to believe that this, is supposed to be an entertaining comedy. And it's not an entertaining comedy, especially when you take a look at this film from a panoramic perspective and the presentation of the black woman's image over the last 16 or 17 years since Halle Berry won the Oscar for Monsters Ball. Now, after Halle Berry won the Oscar for Monsters Ball, we have seen a complete decline in the image of the African American woman in Hollywood and American media. And in every image we see this hypersexualized female being presented on screen, and we see her presenting herself in these degrading and disgusting images. And Girls Trip pretty much, follows the trend of the twerk videos, the fights in McDonald's, and all that other nastiness, and presents it in film form in a movie. And this degrading image of black women, sadly, is sitting here and they're presented to us as entertainment. And what's even sadder, about this picture of entertainment is that this is supposed to be presented to us as humor. And it's not funny to me to see, 40 plus year old women acting like children. And that's what this film is trying to really say to this female. As I said a minute ago, they're saying that you do not have the maturity to act like a woman, that you are not respectable like a woman. They are just laughing at you, not laughing with you. And that's what this comedy really does, is it's laughing at black women, but black women, they can't hear the laughter of people. They think that they're laughing with them, but they don't understand they're laughing at them. And they're presenting a degrading image of black women for the whole world to see in this Girls Trip, which is just another minstrel show. This is a minstrel show that pretty much makes fun of black women at their own expense. And the biggest and saddest part of this joke is that they went out and got a black man to go direct this. Because we have the director, Malcolm D. Lee, of films like The Best Man and The Best Man Holiday, making this film and thinking that he's doing something, when in actuality, he's just continuing to degrade the image of black women. And he thinks he's going to do a different type of comedy because he's working with one of the South Park producers and trying to make some sort of raunchy comedy. But again, he should have understood that there's a difference between black women and white women. And the way a black director presents the image of a black woman has to be completely different than the way a white director would present the image of a black woman. And what Malcolm D. Lee is doing is he's presenting the image of a black woman in the same way a racist white man would present the image of a black woman. When I look at this girls' trip, I see all the racist stereotypes a white supremacist would present of a black woman on screen. Because I look at this film and I don't see anything positive regarding it. Well, I look at Malcolm D. Lee and I see what he's trying to do, and he's trying to make a film that is similar to Bridesmaids, which starred Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. Unfortunately, what he doesn't understand is that white women like Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy have white female privilege. And when they go out here and star in a film that is filled with raunchy sex jokes, there is no racial connotation to it. They are not going to be seen in a negative light if they go out here and star in a film filled with raunchy sex jokes. They're just going to be seen as white women and seen as individuals. However, when black women go out here and star in a movie like Girls Trip, it's going to have a ripple effect on the image of black women. And I saw that happen in 2001 with Halle Berry after she won the Oscar for Monsters Ball. Now, after Halle Berry won the Oscar for Monsters Ball, we saw a ripple effect and a total change in the image of the black woman. And we saw black women in real life going out here and participating in more promiscuous behavior, more violent behavior, and producing media which pretty much presented them in a negative light. After Halle won the Oscar for Monsters Ball, we started seeing more sexually promiscuous images. We started seeing more images that degraded the image of the black woman, such as these reality shows like Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, and we also saw the rise of websites such as Ghetto Gaggers, and we also saw, you know, more and more degrading images of African American women. And when I think about this girls' trip, what's really sad about it is we have grown women who know better participating in this type of behavior. And that's really embarrassing when you really think about it. We have 40-plus-year-old educated black women bringing themselves down to the level of small children, not understanding that when you do this, again, you are reinforcing and breathing new life into many of the ideas and concepts that white supremacists have regarding black women. They pretty much see black women as children, and now we have a black director going along and promoting those same images and then telling us it's comedy, not understanding this is comedy that people are laughing at black women, not laughing with black women. And what's really sad about this is that I know it's possible to do a comedy that makes fun of things and pretty much is entertaining and enjoyable to everyone and presents the black woman in a positive light. And I did this in a novel that I published in 2013 called The Thetas. Now, in The Thetas, I pretty much present this Colleen character, and she's going to pledge this black sorority. And in that journey, as she goes to pledge this black sorority, the black feminist character of Colleen pretty much runs into many of the same situations that were presented in films like Your Bridesmaids. And what I did is I presented the jokes in a tasteful fashion. And the way I presented the jokes pretty much had people laughing at the situation, not at the person. And there was a couple of chapters I did which related to hygiene and etiquette. and one of them related to a trip to one of these salons where she had to get waxed in our private area. And the way I did it was to make the point of laughing at, the experience, not at the person. And I also wanted to make a point about etiquette and dressing appropriately for social situations. So there were jokes that were done, regarding that whole situation of going to that waxing salon, and then other jokes done about lingerie. And it was all done in a tasteful fashion where the reader came out of it learning that, you have to wear, people do things like this because they want to wear clothes so they can go to things like social functions, and that they want to keep their bodies clean so that they can go to these social functions. And it was done in a fashion that, the reader learned something, and they also enjoyed it, and they also got a laugh. So I know it's possible to do this kind of comedy and present things that presents black women in a positive light and presents a positive image of black women. And I also know that you can also do it in a way that's enjoyable and entertaining. You don't have to dig in the gutter for jokes, because with the Thetas, I was trying to present a positive image of black women, a ladylike image of black women, and present a humanized image of black women. And then when I look at, films like Your Girls Trip, I see how much more work I have to do, because I look at this film, and again, it's really sad to see 40-plus-year-old women breathing new life into the old stereotype and making themselves out to be a Hottentot Venus and a minstrel to the world, and then thinking that this is entertainment. Even worse, we have a guy like Malcolm D. Lee thinking that this is funny when, he literally shows me he doesn't understand what comedy truly is and how to present your black woman in a positive light in a film that pretty much shows her as a human being, not as a joke people are laughing at. And because good comedy has us laughing with the characters about the situation, not laughing at them and seeing them as a joke like they do with this girls' trip. Now, if you really want to see some really good comedy, I urge you to go pick up The Thetas. It's available on Amazon.com right now in paperback and ebook form. And after you read this book, you will see the difference between ladies, like you see sophisticated ladies, and these minstrels you see in a film like Girls Trip.